portion of Inside Look here at SeaWorld. My name is Yvonne. I am an assistant supervisor here with our education department. I'm going to take you guys over to meet our Magellanic penguins. But in order to get there, we have to cross very, very busy traffic streets here. I will throw myself in front of all the traffic for your safety. But in the meantime, I do ask that you please walk between the yellow line and the curb down to the blue bench. The blue bench is where we're going to cross the street, okay? And then I will tell you all about things on the way, and we're going to go into our observation room where we're going to talk about how our penguins from SeaWorld fly. That's weird. Penguins that fly. The SeaWorld penguins fly. Here at SeaWorld. This one actually belongs to our killer whales. So all the water in Killer Whale Stadium is cycled through every 2 hours. It goes through 3 different forms of filtration. It's going to go through a rock filtration, a sand filtration, and then finally a UV light to get rid of any of that unwanted bacteria that might be in the water. All mammal water here is tested twice a day. Just to make sure that it is in pristine order. Our water quality team is here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it doesn't matter what's happening in the world. They're always here to help take care of our animals. So we're going to head right this way into our... every department that has water has their very own. All of this just homework. Resin has their own, Manatee has their own. It's just kind of everywhere. That way if there's ever an issue, it's isolated. So things that have wheels, we're going to park right here.
I got wheels on the car.
Bonnie. Here we go. We'll step right out this way.
What do you do, Mommy?
All right, so we're going to run into our observation. Little foot back here. You're going to do your best little penguin shuffle right across that foot back. Yep, all the way over by the windows. So welcome to our Magellanic exhibit. This is our observation window.
Mommy.
There is one animal in there that doesn't quite look like a penguin. It's actually a cloaked gull. So it's a type of seagull. He is the one who's super fond of that snow because all of the penguins in here are Magellanic penguins, which means that they are a warm weather species. These penguins can be found around the coast of South America, down in Chile, Argentina, the Falkland Islands. That's where you're going to find them. So they like those warm, sandy, rocky beaches. The habitat in here is at about 50 degrees. That's like their springtime weather for them. So it's really, really comfy, super spoiled with all that air conditioning. Where our other 5 species of penguins here at SeaWorld are in our Antarctica exhibit, where it is 32 degrees. So these guys like it significantly warmer than our other penguins. Now I talked about how these penguins fly. That is because they are our ambassador penguins, and they happen to fly in a wonderful little crate that's right there by your feet. We throw some ice packs in there to keep it a nice 50 degrees inside that crate. They get a nice passenger seat right next to their trainer on a major airline as they travel around the United States, going to hospitals and schools. They've even been on the Today Show. So don't be too starstruck, because they are superstars in there. But when they get to said place to be ambassadors for us, they have their own little play yard that we bring with us. So an example of that is on this table back here. Gives them a nice place to just kind of call home and tuck away and hang out until they're ready to be ultra famous whatever location they go to. So now when you go in, you will notice that all of our penguins have on bracelets. Now they're not all Taylor Swift fans. Those bracelets are actually their identification. So like you have a social security number, all of our penguins do as well. Their number is on their bracelet, associates with all the information about them. So when they molt, how many chicks they've had, what health care they've had, what health care they might need in the future, their age, who their parents were, all of their information, or all our information that's tied to our social security number is tied to our penguin's identification number. Same type thing. Now you'll notice that some of them have their little Swiftie bracelet on the right and some of them on the left. So the male's bracelets, the women thought they were right. No, the women thought they were right, so the men left. So the men's bracelets are on the left-hand side. The women's bracelets are on the right. Yeah, it's hard. Anyway, so when you go into this exhibit, you'll notice some are on the left, some on the right. That's going to give us tell us whether they're male or female. Now, you cannot look at a penguin and know whether it's male or female. The only way to tell is by genetic testing. So what happens is when our chicks are born and they get their very first big boy or big girl penguin feathers, because when a penguin is first born, it's full of down feathers and it's very fluffy, so it can't get in the water. Those feathers are not waterproof. So when it gets its big boy or big girl feathers in, we're going to take one of those, send it off for genetic testing. That's going to tell us whether they're male or female, and then what their family gene line is. That's really important here at SeaWorld because we have smaller colonies, and we want to make sure that when we're breeding within the colony, that we're not breeding within the family. So we're able to trade penguins around around other SeaWorld parks in order to broaden our gene pool. So if you ever do our
You're talking about the gene pool, about
yes.
taking them apart.
Okay, yes, they can trade them around to broaden that gene pool. If you ever do our penguin up close tour, part of that tour you can actually see the genealogy up on the wall. So you can see how it's kind of cool. Yes. So these guys, they are prepping for mating season, but it's not quite. It starts in March, so they begin March through May as we start seeing some eggs come about from our Magellanic penguins. But you will get to see their little burrows where they nest in. So right now they have a cover over them, but come in March, those covers will come off, and then penguins pair up, and they'll gather materials throughout the exhibit to make their nests and hopefully present us with some wonderful Magellanic baby penguins.
So you really can't tell whether the male and female without doing that genetic test.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So consequently, we have a female named Fred and a male named Julie, and ironically, they're a mated pair. So
that's
yeah, it worked out well. All right, you guys ready to go get up close and personal?
Sure. right, we'll go like
This
this.
female lays eggs, right?
Yes.
But they both take care of the eggs.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Male penguins are very attentive to their chicks. I'm gonna go right this way, actually. They're very attentive to their chicks and to the nest.
They are very, or they're not still yet, but they are very attentive.
Part of the problem right now is because of overfishing. The Magellanic penguins are having to go further and further out into the ocean to get fish to bring back to take care of their young ones. Which is why we really encourage our guests to use sustainable fish products so that there's not so much overfishing, and hopefully those penguins aren't having to really work so hard.
Are they mated for life?
Come on through. We're gonna do a nice little penguin shuffle right across here and head straight up towards our aviculturists.
No, they haven't been the same success rate as the SeaWorld. So some will stick together for season after season, and others will break up every season and find a new mate. Others are not going to necessarily be seasonally monogamous, and they can kind of travel from nest to nest and mess them up a little. Very much depends on the individual. Just make sure both shoes go through that map for me.
Can someone capture that white door for me?
Alright, awesome guys, welcome. My name is Christy. I'm an aviculturist, which is just the nice way to call me a bird nerd or bird keeper. I'm going to be the one taking you guys in to meet our Magellanic Penguin habitat and check everything out in just a minute. We just have a couple safety things before we enter. There is going to be another black mat on the other side of this door. Please just make sure both shoes go through that for me. Then you'll be in our guest area. Feel free to walk around that guest area. You'll see a little half wall. Welcome to walk right up to that half wall. You can take pictures and videos as much as you'd like. I do ask that two things: our flash is turned off and that we're keeping all of our personal belongings and body parts on our side of that wall. Penguins are in their own personal time. They're doing their own thing, and we don't really invade that space for them, okay? And you guys have any questions before we head in? If you guys have any questions while we're inside, feel free to interrupt me, or else I will just keep talking penguin facts at you. Is that okay? Perfect.